I hear from a lot of business leaders that they feel like they have a great story to tell as a business, but no one seems to be listening. And when I hear the story and the work they're doing, I agree, they do have a great story. The problem is they're actually a best kept secret. Why is that happening? Why isn't their story getting out? Well, the first reason is they may not be actually telling it. And that is obviously a big problem. Secondly, they may actually have their story being crowded out by all the other stories in the market. It's a very noisy story market. There's a lot of competing stories out there. Another reason why their story might not be getting out is that they're not connecting with their buyers at the right time. The moment in the buyer's experience when they actually could benefit from hearing the story. And then the last reason they may not be getting out there is because they're using old methodology or old technology to try and tell a story,